Resolved, euthanasia should be legal in all states. The word euthanasia was originated from the Greek word for good death. It's the act or practice of ending the life of a person either by a lethal injection or the suspension of medical treatment. I think euthanasia should be legal in all states because it's just like putting dogs or cats to sleep by a painless injection. Euthanasia should be legal in all states because according to the story on euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide, euthanasia is a quick and painless way to end suffering. A woman was diagnosed and suffered from breast cancer for 4 years. Through those 4 years was continuous pain all over her body. So if euthanasia is legalized, the woman could have had the choice to end her suffering from extreme pain, and it would have only took a single injection to do just that. Suicides happen every day. Whether it's physical or emotional pain, it still happens. It can range from overdosing on pills to taking a bullet to the head. That's another critical reason why euthanasia should be legalized. Based on my research in law prohibiting assisted suicide, euthanasia is a much more humane way to die because just like putting dogs or cats to sleep, it takes a single injection and you will go into a relaxing and painless sleep. Also, it's a choice to make so patients are not forced to do it. The patients could talk to their family and choose for the better. Based on my research in euthanasia statistics and euthanasia pros and cons, a majority of the public and the media voted that euthanasia is strongly supported and should be legalized in all states because it's a choice for terminally ill patients can make, and it can save the patients' families a lot of money. It saves money because if patients have no chance to live, families would have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to pay for medication and hospital bills, and it would take restless hours to care for the sick. Instead, it would only cost a couple $100s for one injection and end the stress for the families and the suffering of the patient. People are suffering from terminal illnesses physically or emotionally every day. Sometimes they just want to end it for the best for them and their family. So I believe that it would be best for the government to legalize euthanasia in all states because if it is legal for animals, why not legalize it for humans too?
My opponent has said that if someone is suffering, that they feel like their only option is to end their life, but there are more options. It isn't the best solution because it gives people the impression that life is too much like a bug, that we could crush it if it becomes a problem. An assisted suicide is playing God. It is too much power in humans' hands. And although living through the rest of your life could be painful, every moment is precious. And I disagree with what he said because we should be killing the pain, not the patient. People have the wrong solution. You shouldn't go around killing the patient. You should get them involved with a very good care unit. Euthanasia is a permanent solution, and it is not reversible. Life is a gift, and euthanasia destroys that gift once and for all.
Mark, that's good. Cool. Claps for Mark.
Death is not a new thing to us. It's natural, side in our precious cycle of life. Everyone, every living thing will eventually take their last breath. Should we be allowed to decide and deliver our own death, or put our fate and place in the hands of family members, friends, and in some cases strangers, such as doctors? The idea of death and an individual's right to die by euthanasia has been a hot debate topic for many years. There is an 85-year-old patient by the name of Kate Cheney who had terminal cancer and was eventually also diagnosed with short-term memory loss. Kate wanted to be euthanized, but the doctor didn't feel she was capable of making an educated decision herself due to her health conditions. So he assigned her to a therapist. The therapist and the doctor looked further into the situation to see if the right decision was to end Kate's life. Kate ended up battling cancer and ended up curing her health conditions. It's important that we find doctors who are willing to look into all other options before making life-threatening decisions. Euthanasia is an act of crime. The act allows family members, friends, and doctors the right to kill. Based on my research, there was an 18-year-old male patient that had severe back pain every day, and he wanted to commit euthanasia because of it. He went to the doctors thinking there was only two options. One of the options was to live his life in the back pain, and the other option was to commit assisted suicide by euthanasia. The doctor agreed with him, and the doctor didn't look further into the situation and just ended his life quickly because that's what he thought he wanted. In a case like this, a doctor should be considered a murderer for not looking further into the situation. Rules and regulations in all our states should protect patients from doctors who don't look into all other options before ending a patient's life. Otherwise, the act will be considered murder. Some patients want to kill themselves because they are depressed. But why kill yourself when there are multiple options? For example, research shows that talk therapy, along with prescription medication, improved depression in mentally ill patients. Patients begin to realize there are more options in committing assisted suicide by euthanasia. Based on my research, there was a 22-year-old that was very depressed and was asking people questions about euthanasia as he was interested in the right to die by euthanasia. Was this patient aware there is mental health support to get him better? Did this patient need more education and support to understand how his life can improve with the right mental health support in place? You would understand that euthanasia isn't an easy answer and eventually learn it could be an option versus death. Mentally ill patients are also affected by euthanasia and should not be left to make life-threatening decisions before other treatments are offered and applied. Imagine if you were in a horrible car accident and could hear your family members and doctors thinking about letting you go. What if you had the chance, no matter how small, to live? Wouldn't you want to fight? Wouldn't you want to take a chance at fighting? We have all heard of miracles. If you were the one on the table, I bet you would want to be that miracle too. Life is too precious to allow euthanasia as a quick and easy answer to physically and mentally ill patients who could potentially be helped. We should always look at all options before allowing an individual to die, even if the patient is mentally ill. If all options were not offered or applied for the fight to survive and offer ongoing precious life, doctors should be tried as criminals for murder.
My opponent says that life is not a bug, but you can't crush it. Really, and you can't crush it. But I disagree because Malia Kundera said that dogs do not have many advantages over people, but one of them is extremely important. Euthanasia is not forbidden by law in their case. Animals have the right to have a miracle death. I agree with this because dogs and cats might be able to get euthanized. So if they are able to get euthanized, why can't people be able to get euthanized? My opponent also said that an 18-year-old committed euthanasia, but I disagree because you can't commit euthanasia because euthanasia is just assisted suicide. It's not like committing suicide. It's you get injected by a needle. You can't really commit that. You're assisted by a doctor. Therefore, euthanasia should be legal in all states.